Can you really know what someone's thinking? Even when their words sound convincing, what if the truth is hiding in the subtle things they do? In this video, we're uncovering 4 sneaky behaviors that expose someone's true intentions, guided by the profound insights of Carl Jung's psychology. Whether it's a friend, co-worker, or someone you love, these clues rooted in Jung's concepts of the shadow and persona will help you see through the mask to what they're really after. Stick with us to discover practical ways to read people like never before and even learn something about your own intentions. Drop a comment below. Have you ever sensed someone's intentions didn't match their words? Let's dive into the Jungian secrets that reveal the truth. Have you ever felt like someone's words didn't quite match what they really wanted? Maybe the friend swore they were happy for your success, but something in their tone felt off, or a co-worker promised to help, but their actions suggested they had their own agenda. These moments make you wonder, what are they really after? To understand someone's true intentions, we need to look through the lens of Carl Jung's psychology, specifically his concepts of the shadow and the persona. In this chapter, we'll explore why people hide their intentions, how the shadow drives this behavior, and why spotting it can change how you navigate relationships. Let's dive into the Jungian secrets behind hidden intentions. In Carl Jung's framework, the shadow is the unconscious part of our personality, the thoughts, feelings, or impulses we push away because they don't fit the image we want to project. Maybe it's ambition we're ashamed of, insecurity we don't want to admit, or even resentment we've been taught to suppress. To cover this up, we create a persona, the polished mask we wear to fit in with society, family, or work. The persona is how we want to be seen: kind, successful, trustworthy. But the shadow holds our true intentions, the ones we hide to avoid judgment, conflict, or vulnerability. When someone's intentions don't match their words, it's often because their shadow is at play, leaking out in subtle ways. Why do we hide our intentions? For one, it's about self-protection. Admitting you want something like recognition, control, or even revenge can feel risky. It might expose you to rejection, make you seem selfish, or disrupt relationships. So, we bury those intentions in the shadow and let our persona do the talking. But the shadow isn't silent. It shows up in small behaviors, things we'll explore in the next chapters, that betray what someone's really after. Understanding this dynamic is the first step to reading people's true intentions and even uncovering your own. Let's meet James, a man in his late 30s who works as a sales manager. James is known for his generosity at the office, always offering to help colleagues with their projects or share credit for team wins. "I just want us all to succeed," he says with a warm smile during meetings. But over time, his co-workers notice a pattern. James's generosity often comes with an expectation. When he helps someone, he subtly reminds them of it later, especially when promotions are discussed. One day, a colleague, Emma, thanked James for his support on a big pitch, but noticed he quickly brought up how his help made it happen. It left her wondering, was James's kindness genuine, or was he angling for something more? Have you ever met someone like James? Carl Jung would say James's behavior reflects his shadow at work. His persona, the selfless team player, is what he wants others to see, but his shadow holds a different intention, a desire for recognition and career advancement. By hiding this ambition, James protects his likable image, but his subtle self-promotion betrays his true intentions. This isn't about judging James, it's about understanding that his shadow is driving him to conceal what he really wants. His generosity might be real, but it's also strategic, and those around him sense the disconnect. Now, let's look at another example. Meet Olivia, a woman in her early 20s, who's part of a tight-knit friend group. Olivia always says she's happy to go along with whatever the group plans. From movie nights to weekend trips. I'm easygoing. Whatever works for everyone. She insists. But when her friends choose a plan she doesn't like, Olivia gets quiet. Her smile tightens, and she later makes excuses to bail out. One time, when her friends picked a restaurant she wasn't thrilled about, Olivia agreed but then cancelled last minute. Claiming she was feeling under the weather, her friends started to suspect she wasn't as easygoing as she claimed. Does this remind you of anyone in your life? Olivia's story shows another reason we hide intentions to avoid conflict. Carl Jung would argue that Olivia's persona as the agreeable friend is clashing with her shadow, which holds her true desire to have her preferences heard. By saying she's fine with anything, Olivia avoids rocking the boat. But her shadow leaks out through her passive resistance, cancelling plans or withdrawing. Her true intention to prioritize her own wants is hidden to maintain harmony, but her behavior gives it away. This kind of disconnect is a clue that someone's intentions aren't what they seem. So, why does this matter? Because understanding why people hide their intentions helps you see through their persona to the shadow underneath. Carl Jung believed the shadow isn't just a flaw, it's a window into someone's authentic self, including their deepest desires or fears. When you spot the signs of hidden intentions, you're not just reading others, you're learning to navigate relationships with clarity and empathy. And here's the powerful part, this process also reflects back on you. Carl Jung's concept of individuation, the journey to integrate your shadow and become whole, starts with recognizing your own hidden intentions. Do you ever say one thing but want another? Maybe you agree to help a friend to seem kind, but deep down, you're hoping for their approval. Those moments are your shadow speaking. By looking through this Jungian lens, you're setting the stage to spot the 4 subtle behaviors we'll explore in the next chapters. These behaviors, like inconsistent body language or reactions under pressure, are the shadow's way of revealing someone's true intentions, even when their words say otherwise. But it's not just about others. As you learn to see these signs, you'll also start to notice your own shadow, your own hidden intentions, and that's where real growth begins. Let's pause and reflect. Think about someone in your life whose words felt convincing, but their actions made you question their motives. Maybe it's a coworker who's overly helpful, or a friend who's always fine but pulls away. Have you ever suspected someone's intentions weren't what they seemed? What tipped you off? Hold that thought, because it's the first step to unlocking the Jungian secrets of true intentions. Have you ever had a conversation where someone's words sounded perfectly sincere, but their body language told a different story? Maybe they said they were thrilled for you, but their arms were crossed, or their smile didn't quite reach their eyes. These subtle mismatches are the first major sign that someone's true intentions might not match what they're saying. In this chapter, we're diving into how inconsistent body language reveals the shadow, that hidden part of the personality Carl Jung described as the unconscious feelings or impulses we try to bury. By spotting this behavior, you'll get a clearer picture of what someone's really after, and maybe even learn something about your own authenticity. Let's explore. In Carl Jung's psychology, the shadow holds the parts of ourselves we don't want to show, emotions like jealousy, insecurity, or hidden agendas that clash with the image we project. To cover these up, we wear a persona, the polished mask that says, "I'm supportive, I'm confident, or I'm trustworthy." But our bodies often betray us. While we can control our words to align with our persona, body language, like a forced smile, a tense posture, or avoiding eye contact, is harder to fake. These unconscious signals are the shadow's way of leaking out, revealing intentions that don't match the words. When someone's body language contradicts what they say, it's a clue. Their true intentions are hiding in their shadow. Let's meet Emily, a woman in her mid-20s who's part of a close-knit friend group. Emily always tells her best friend, Sophie, that she's genuinely happy about Sophie's recent promotion. "You deserve it," Emily says with a wide smile during a coffee catch-up. But Sophie notices something off. Emily's smile fades quickly. Her arms are crossed tightly, and she barely makes eye contact while talking about the promotion. Later, when Sophie shares more good news, Emily nods enthusiastically but fidgets with her cup, her eyes darting away. Sophie starts to wonder if Emily's excitement is genuine. Does this remind you of someone you've met? Carl Jung would say Emily's inconsistent body language is a window into her shadow. Her persona, the supportive, happy friend, is what she wants Sophie to see. But her shadow might hold feelings of jealousy or insecurity. Perhaps because Sophie's success highlights Emily's own career struggles. While Emily's words align with her persona, her body language, crossed arms, fleeting smile, avoided gaze, betrays her true intentions. She may not even be fully aware of these feelings, as the shadow operates unconsciously. But for Sophie, these subtle cues are a sign that Emily's intentions aren't as straightforward as her words suggest. Now, let's look at another example. Meet Daniel, a man in his early 30s who's a rising star at his tech startup. During a team meeting, Daniel's boss praises a colleague, Mia, for her innovative idea. Daniel chimes in, saying, "That's amazing. Mia, great work." But as he speaks, his posture stiffens, his smile looks forced, and he grips his pen tightly. Later, when Mia asks for his input on the project, Daniel's responses are short, and he avoids looking at her directly. His colleagues pick up on the tension, sensing that Daniel's enthusiasm might not be genuine. Have you ever noticed someone's body language not matching their words like this? Daniel's story shows how inconsistent body language can reveal hidden intentions. Carl Jung would argue that Daniel's persona as a collaborative teammate is clashing with his shadow, which might hold competitive feelings or a desire to be the one in the spotlight. His words support Mia, but his body language, tense posture, forced smile, lack of eye contact suggests he's not entirely on board. These unconscious signals are the shadow's way of expressing what Daniel's persona is trying to hide. Perhaps a need for recognition or discomfort with someone else's success. Why does body language betray intentions? Because it's harder to control than words. Carl Jung believed the shadow often speaks through the body, as it's less filtered by conscious effort. When someone's trying to project a certain image, like being supportive or confident, their persona can craft the perfect words, but the shadow, holding their true intentions, slips through in subtle ways: a clenched jaw, a nervous fidget, or eyes that don't linger. These mismatches are like cracks in the persona, offering a glimpse into what someone's really thinking or feeling. Spotting this behavior in others can also teach you about yourself. Carl Jung's concept of individuation, the journey to integrate your shadow and become your authentic self, starts with self-awareness. If you notice someone's body language betraying their words, ask yourself, do I ever do this? Maybe you smile and say you're fine when you're upset, but your slumped shoulders give you away. Or perhaps you nod in agreement during a meeting, but your crossed arms show resistance. These moments point to your own shadow, where your true intentions like fear, doubt, or hidden desires might be hiding. So, how can you spot this behavior in everyday life? Pay attention to the little things. If someone's words are warm but their body language is closed off, like crossed arms, a forced smile, or avoiding eye contact, their shadow might be revealing a different intention. Don't jump to conclusions. Instead, Use it as a clue to understand what they're holding back. And take a moment to check yourself. Are there times when your body language doesn't match your words? Maybe you say you're excited for a friend's news, but your tense posture suggests otherwise. Those are glimpses of your shadow. And noticing them is a step toward authenticity. This is just the first of 4 behaviors that expose true intentions. In the next chapter, we'll explore how overcompensation in speech can reveal what someone's really after. But for now, let's pause and reflect. Think about someone whose words seemed convincing, but their body language told a different story. Have you noticed someone's body language betraying their words? What did you see? Hold that thought, because it's a key to unlocking their true intentions. Have you ever heard someone go overboard with their words? Like they're trying too hard to sound sincere. Maybe a colleague showers you with praise that feels excessive. Or a friend keeps insisting they're totally fine when you know something's off. This tendency to overcompensate in speech, using exaggerated words or overly emphatic assurances, is the second subtle behavior that can expose someone's true intentions. In this chapter, we're diving into how this behavior reveals the shadow, the hidden part of the personality Carl Jung described as the unconscious feelings or motives we try to bury. By spotting this sign, you'll uncover what someone's really after, and maybe even catch a glimpse of your own hidden intentions. Let's get into it. In Carl Jung's psychology, the shadow holds the parts of ourselves we don't want to admit to, emotions like insecurity, ambition, or even manipulation that clash with the image we want to project. To keep these hidden, we craft a persona, the polished mask that says, "I'm genuine, I'm supportive, or I'm confident." But when someone overcompensates in their speech, using overly enthusiastic praise, excessive reassurances, or forced sincerity, it's often because their persona is working overtime to cover up something in their shadow. This exaggeration is like a neon sign pointing to their true intentions, whether it's a desire for approval, a need to control, or a fear of being exposed. Let's meet Liam, a man in his early 30s, who works as a junior manager at a consulting firm. Liam is known for his charm and always has a kind word for everyone, especially his boss, Sarah. During team meetings, Liam frequently compliments Sarah's leadership, saying things like, "You're absolutely the best boss I've ever had," or "Your vision is just incredible." His praise is so effusive that it stands out, and his colleagues notice it. Often comes right before performance reviews, or when projects are assigned. One day, when Sarah announced a new initiative, Liam jumped in with, "This is genius. Sarah, you're killing it." But his tone felt rehearsed, and his smile seemed forced. His co-workers started to wonder if Liam's flattery was more about getting ahead than genuine admiration. Does this sound like someone you've encountered? Carl Jung would say, Liam's overcompensation in speech is a clear sign of his shadow at work. His persona, the charming, supportive team member, is designed to win favor and project likability. But his shadow might hold a more self-serving intention, like a desire for a promotion or to secure Sarah's approval. By piling on the praise, Liam's persona is trying to mask this ambition. But the exaggeration gives him away. His over-the-top words are the shadow's way of leaking out, revealing that his intentions might be more strategic than sincere. This isn't about judging Liam. It's about recognizing that his shadow is driving him to hide his true motives. Now, let's look at another example. Meet Chloe, a woman in her late 20s, who's part of a friend group that often plans outings together. Whenever her friends ask how she's doing, Chloe responds with an overly cheerful, "I'm totally fine. Life's amazing," even when she's clearly stressed. One evening, after a tough week at work, her friend Mia noticed Chloe looked exhausted and asked, "Hey, Are you really okay? Chloe laughed loudly and said, "Oh my gosh. I'm great. Never better." But her high-pitched tone and quick deflection made Mia suspicious. Later, Chloe admitted in private that she was struggling but didn't want to seem weak. Have you ever met someone who overdoes their words like this? Chloe's story shows how overcompensation in speech can hide true intentions. Carl Jung would argue that Chloe's persona as the positive, upbeat friend is clashing with her shadow, which holds her stress and fear of appearing vulnerable by overemphasizing how amazing she feels. Chloe's persona is working hard to cover up her true intention to avoid burdening her friends or seeming fragile. But her exaggerated tone and forced enthusiasm betray her, hinting at the struggles she's trying to hide. This kind of overcompensation is a clue that someone's true intentions don't align with their words. Why does overcompensation in speech happen? Because the shadow often holds intentions we've been taught to suppress, like ambition, insecurity, or a need for validation. When someone feels their persona is at risk, they lean harder into it, using exaggerated language to reinforce the image they want to project. For Liam, excessive praise might stem from a fear that his ambition will be seen as selfish. For Chloe, over-the-top positivity could be a shield against judgment for not being strong enough. Carl Jung believed these moments of exaggeration are the shadow's way of signaling what's really going on, even if the person isn't fully aware of it. Spotting this behavior in others can also teach you about yourself. Carl Jung's concept of individuation, the journey to integrate your shadow and become your authentic self, starts with noticing your own patterns. If you catch someone overcompensating in their speech, ask yourself, do I ever do this? Maybe you pile on compliments to win someone over, hiding your desire for their approval. Or perhaps you insist you're fine when you're falling apart, masking your vulnerability. These moments point to your shadow, where your true intentions, like a need for acceptance or fear of judgment, might be hiding. So, how can you spot this behavior in everyday life? Listen for language that feels too much praise that's overly effusive, reassurances that sound forced, or enthusiasm that doesn't ring true. If a co-worker's compliments feel calculated, or a friend's positivity seems overdone, their shadow might be revealing a hidden intention. Instead of judging, use it as a clue to understand what they're trying to protect or achieve. And don't forget to check yourself. Are there times you exaggerate your words to cover something up? Maybe you overhype your excitement to seem supportive. But deep down, you're holding back resentment. Those are glimpses of your shadow, and noticing them is a step toward growth. This is just one piece of the puzzle. In the next chapter, we'll explore how someone's reactions under pressure can expose their true intentions. But for now, let's pause and reflect. Think about someone whose words felt over the top, like they were trying too hard to convince you. Have you met someone who overdoes their words to seem sincere? What did it make you think? Hold that thought, because it's a window into their true intentions. Have you ever noticed how someone's true colors come out when the pressure's on? Maybe a coworker stays calm and friendly in routine meetings, but snaps when a deadline looms. Or a friend seems supportive until a tense situation reveals a side of them you didn't expect. These reactions under pressure, when someone's composure cracks, are the third subtle behavior that can expose their true intentions. In this chapter, we're diving into how stress or conflict brings the shadow, Carl Jung's term for the hidden parts of our personality, to the surface. By spotting this behavior, you'll uncover what someone's really after, and maybe even learn something about how you handle pressure. Let's explore. In Carl Jung's psychology, the shadow is the unconscious part of ourselves, emotions, désir, or motives, like insecurity, anger, or self-interest, that we try to keep hidden. To maintain a polished image, We wear a persona, the mask that projects qualities like kindness, competence, or reliability. But under pressure, whether it's a tight deadline, a heated argument, or an unexpected challenge, the persona can falter, and the shadow takes over. When someone's reaction in a high-stress moment feels out of character, it's often their shadow revealing their true intentions, like a need for control, fear of failure, or even hidden resentment. These moments are like a spotlight on what's really driving them. Let's meet Ava, a woman in her late 20s, who's known for her easygoing nature at her marketing agency. Ava's the team member who always agrees to help, keeps meetings light, and seems to get along with everyone. But during a high-stakes project with a tight deadline, Ava's usual calm demeanor cracked when a colleague asked her to clarify a decision she made about a campaign. Ava snapped, "Why are you questioning me? I know what I'm doing." Her sharp tone and defensive posture surprised the team, who were used to her laid-back attitude. Later, Ava apologized, but her outburst left her colleagues wondering if her easygoing persona was hiding something else. "Does this sound like someone you've seen under pressure?" Carl Jung would say. Ava's reaction under pressure is a classic sign of her shadow breaking through. Her persona, the cooperative, easygoing teammate, is how she wants to be seen. But under stress, her shadow, possibly holding insecurities about her competence or a need to prove herself, took over. Her defensive outburst wasn't just about the question, it was about protecting a hidden intention, perhaps to maintain control or avoid looking inadequate. When pressure strips away the persona, the shadow reveals what someone's really after, even if they don't fully realize it themselves. Now, let's look at another example. Meet Ryan, a man in his mid-30s, who's part of a volunteer group organizing community events. Ryan always presents himself as selfless, saying, "I just want to make a difference." But during a chaotic event setup, when a volunteer pointed out that Ryan's plan was falling behind, he reacted sharply. "If you think you can do better, go ahead and try," he said, his voice laced with irritation. The group was stunned. Ryan's usual warmth was gone, replaced by a need to defend his leadership. Later, he brushed it off as stress, but the moment made others question whether his selflessness was as genuine as it seemed. Have you ever seen someone's true intentions slip out like this? Ryan's story shows how pressure can expose hidden intentions. Carl Jung would argue that Ryan's persona as the selfless volunteer clashed with his shadow, which might hold a desire for control or recognition. His sharp reaction under pressure revealed an intention he usually keeps hidden to be seen as the one in charge. The stress of the moment broke through his persona, letting his shadow speak. These reactions are a clue that someone's true intentions, whether it's a need for validation or a fear of being undermined, are closer to the surface than their words suggest. Why do reactions under pressure reveal so much? Because stress tests the strength of the persona. Carl Jung believed that when we're pushed to our limits, the shadow, our unfiltered desires or fears, takes over, exposing what we're really after. For Ava, pressure revealed her fear of being seen as incompetent. For Ryan, it exposed his need to maintain authority. These moments are raw and unscripted, making them a powerful window into someone's true intentions. When the persona cracks, the shadow's motives like control, insecurity, or resentment shine through. Spotting this behavior in others can also teach you about yourself. Carl Jung's concept of individuation, the journey to integrate your shadow and become your authentic self, starts with self-reflection. If you notice someone's true intentions surfacing under pressure, ask yourself, do I ever react like this? Maybe you snap when a deadline looms, revealing a hidden need to prove yourself. Or perhaps you get defensiven, an argument, showing a fear of being wrong. These reactions point to your shadow, where your true intentions like a need for respect or fear of failure might be hiding. So, how can you spot this behavior in everyday life? Pay attention to how people act when things get tough. If a friend's usual warmth turns cold during a conflict, or a colleague's confidence crumbles under pressure, their shadow might be showing their true intentions. Don't judge them. Use it as a clue to understand what's driving them, like a fear or a hidden goal, and take a moment to reflect on yourself. Are there times when stress makes you react in ways that surprise even you? Maybe you lash out or shut down, revealing intentions you didn't know you had. Those moments are your shadow speaking, and noticing them is a step toward growth. This is just one more piece of the puzzle. In the next chapter, we'll explore how selective storytelling can expose someone's true intentions. But for now, let's pause and reflect. Think about someone whose behavior changed under pressure, revealing a side you didn't expect. Have you seen someone's true intentions slip out under stress? What happened? Hold that thought, because it's a key to unlocking their hidden motives. Have you ever noticed someone sharing only the parts of their story that make them look good? Maybe a coworker brags about their successes, but conveniently skips over their mistakes. Or a friend paints a perfect picture of their life, while leaving out the struggles. This habit of selective storytelling, carefully curating what they share to shape how others see them, is the fourth subtle behavior that exposes someone's true intentions. In this chapter, we're diving into how this behavior reveals the shadow, Carl Jung's term for the hidden parts of our personality, and how it connects to Jung's archetypes. By spotting this sign, you'll uncover what someone's really after, and maybe even reflect on your own storytelling. Let's dive in. In Jung's psychology, the shadow holds the feelings, motives, or truths we push away because they don't fit the image we want to project. Things like failures, insecurities, or selfish desire. To maintain a polished image, we wear a persona, the mask that shows the world we're successful, kind, or in control. Selective storytelling is a tool of the persona, where someone deliberately highlights certain details while hiding others to reinforce their desired image. But this curation often reveals their shadow, exposing intentions like a need for admiration, fear of judgment, or a desire to manipulate perceptions. Carl Jung's archetypes like the hero or the trickster can also show up here, as people craft stories to align with these universal roles while hiding their true motives. Let's meet Noah, a man in his mid-30s who works as a freelance graphic designer. Noah loves sharing stories about his career at networking events, always focusing on his big wins like landing a high-profile client or winning an award. "I just finished a project for this major brand," he'll say with a confident smile, soaking up the impressed reactions. But Noah never mentions the times he missed deadlines or lost clients due to miscommunication. One day, a colleague asked about a project that didn't go well, and Noah quickly redirected, saying, "Oh, that was just a minor hiccup. Let me tell you about this other client." I wowed. His selective storytelling made others wonder if he was more focused on looking successful than being honest. Does this remind you of anyone? Carl Jung would say, Noah's selective storytelling is a sign of his shadow at play. His persona, the successful, talented designer, is what he wants others to see, aligning with the hero archetype, someone who triumphs and inspires. But his shadow holds the inconvenient truths, his failures, insecurities, or fear of being seen as less competent. By curating his stories to emphasize wins and skip losses, Noah's persona protects his image. But his omissions reveal his true intention to maintain admiration and avoid vulnerability. His selective narrative is the shadow's way of showing what he's really after, even if he's not fully aware of it. Now, let's look at another example. Meet Sophia, a woman in her early 20s, who's active on social media and loves posting about her life. Sophia's posts are full of vibrant photos from trips, parties, and career milestones, with captions like, "Living my best life." But when a close friend, Emma, asked why she never shares the tougher moments, like her recent job stress, Sophia laughed it off, saying, "Oh, nobody wants to hear about that stuff." Yet Emma noticed Sophia's posts often came after tough days, as if she was compensating for her struggles. Her curated online persona left Emma wondering if Sophia was trying to project confidence to hide something deeper. Have you ever noticed someone only sharing the good parts of their story? Sophia's story shows how selective storytelling can reveal hidden intentions. Carl Jung would argue that Sophia's persona as the happy, successful influencer aligns with the explorer archetype, someone who inspires others with a vibrant life, but her shadow might hold stress, self-doubt, or a fear of seeming imperfect. By sharing only the highlights, Sophia's persona masks these vulnerabilities, but her selective storytelling betrays her intention to gain validation and avoid judgment. The gaps in her narrative, what she chooses not to share, are where her shadow speaks, hinting at her true motives. Why does selective storytelling expose intentions? Because it's a deliberate act to control perception. Carl Jung believed the shadow contains truths we're afraid to face, and selective storytelling is the persona's way of keeping those truths hidden. Whether it's Noah's need for admiration or Sophia's fear of seeming flawed, the stories people choose to tell and avoid reveal their deeper intentions. Archetypes like the hero or trickster often shape these narratives. As people craft stories to fit a role that earns approval or influence, but the omissions, the parts left unsaid, are where the shadow reveals what someone's really after. Spotting this behavior in others can also teach you about yourself. Carl Jung's concept of individuation, the journey to integrate your shadow and become your authentic self, starts with self-awareness. If you notice someone curating their story, ask yourself, do I do this too? Maybe you highlight your achievements at work, but avoid mentioning mistakes, hiding a fear of failure, or perhaps you share only the fun parts of your life with friends, masking struggles to seem strong. These patterns point to your shadow, where intentions like a need for approval or fear of judgment might be hiding. Recognizing this can help you tell a more honest story. So, how can you spot selective storytelling in everyday life? Pay attention to what people emphasize and what they leave out. If a coworker only talks about their successes or a friend's stories are always polished, their shadow might be revealing a hidden intention, like seeking admiration or avoiding criticism. Instead of judging, use it as a clue to understand their motives and reflect on yourself. Are there parts of your story you edit to look better? Maybe you focus on your wins to impress someone. Hiding your doubts. Those omissions are your shadow speaking, and noticing them is a step toward authenticity. This is the final behavior in our journey to uncover true intentions. In the next chapter, we'll tie it all together with practical steps to use these insights in your life. But for now, let's pause and reflect. Think about someone who only shares the parts of their story that make them look good. Have you noticed someone curating their story to seem perfect? What did it reveal about them? Hold that thought, because it's a key to unlocking their true intentions. And there you have it, a powerful journey through the 4 subtle behaviors that expose someone's true intentions, guided by the profound wisdom of Carl Jung's psychology. From inconsistent body language to selective storytelling, we've uncovered how these clues, rooted in Jung's concepts of the shadow, persona, and archetypes, reveal what people are really after. even when their words try to hide it. But this isn't just about reading others. It's about turning the lens on yourself, recognizing your own shadow, and taking steps toward authenticity through Jung's process of individuation. By understanding these behaviors, you're not only decoding the intentions of those around you, you're unlocking a deeper connection to your true self. The shadow isn't something to shy away from, it's a guide, showing you the hidden truths that can lead to growth and stronger relationships, whether it's a coworker whose body language doesn't match their words, a friend who overcompensates to seem sincere, or even your own moments of selective storytelling. These are opportunities to see clearly and connect authentically. So, don't let this video just fade into the background. Take one small step today. Maybe it's noticing someone's inconsistent behavior and reflecting on what it reveals, or catching yourself curating a story and choosing to be more honest. Whatever it is, make it a moment that brings you closer to your authentic self. We'd love to hear from you. Drop a comment below and tell us, what's one time you spotted someone's true intentions through their behavior? Or a moment you noticed your own shadow at play? Your story could spark inspiration for someone else watching. If this video opened your eyes to the hidden motives around you, hit that like button. It helps us reach more people on their journey of self-discovery. Share this video with a friend who needs to see through the masks people wear. And don't forget to subscribe to Jung Psyche Hub and tap the bell icon so you never miss a dive into the psychology of the self. Thank you for joining us on this path. Here's to seeing others clearly, embracing your shadow, and living more authentically. See you in the next video.